Hello, and welcome to today's video. So today I thought I would do something a little fun and bring you in and give you a little insight into how my crazy brain works. So I've never thought too much about my approach to my style and building my wardrobe, but I've realized that to other people it might seem a little bit weird. My background is in theater, and so I have unconsciously approached my wardrobe in the same way that I would approach a costume design. Is it a little extra? Yes. But it is how my brain works and a fun way for me to creatively express myself. So in today's video, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into my process and kind of walk you through it. Now, I don't think that my way is the right way. I don't think that everyone needs to approach their wardrobe in this way. But if you're someone who just feels stuck in their style, maybe you want to get a little bit more creative and step a little bit outside of what you're used to wearing, then I think the things in this video are going to help you. So be sure to watch all the way through this video and hopefully you can get some tips or at least find this interesting. Now, I'm not going to go into detail into the costume designing process in this video, but a general breakdown of the process is 4 things, and that is inspiration, research, design, and sourcing. With costume design, you can be inspired by anything, and I mean anything. It could be a painting, a feeling or emotion, a time period, a designer, a color palette, whatever it is. Costume designers take things that are intangible and conceptual and they realize them into actual clothing. Stay with me. So when it comes to my personal style and my wardrobe, I always start from a place of inspiration. And often that starts with a general feeling or emotion that I want to convey or capture in my clothing. And then usually I will kind of combine that with a general style or concept or design. So I remember this one time in college, I was obsessed with this idea of looking like a ballerina all the time. And so I took photos of ballerinas and I pulled silhouettes and textures and colors and fabrics that had the essence of a ballerina to create everyday looks. Seriously, stay with me. Now, you don't have to get that specific, but I feel like people don't allow themselves to be inspired. Yes, clothing is practical, but it's also emotional and has an effect on you and the way that other people see you. So don't get too literal. Allow yourself to be inspired. I, of course, love Pinterest to get inspired. There are obviously other tools. That's just the one that I use a lot. And before I go any further, if you're already stuck here and have a hard time using Pinterest, or maybe you've never used it before, I do have a video on using Pinterest that you can check out right here, and you can watch that before continuing on this video. So for me, there are times when there's just a whole outfit that I love and just want to recreate. But a lot of the time, I'm just inspired by specific elements. So when I've worked with people and their wardrobes in the past, there has been times when we get to the Pinterest and inspiration portion, and people have told me that when they see Pinterest, they just see a bunch of outfits that they could never wear. They just can't look at an image and see themselves in that outfit. But what you have to do is try and see past the outfit as a whole and try to find those elements that inspire you. Maybe it's the colors, maybe it's the silhouette, maybe it's just the confidence that the outfit has. I don't care what your age is, what your body type is, what size you are, you can achieve any style that you want. So it's really just learning to take those elements and translating them into a look that fits you and your style. So step 1 is inspiration. So I have my Pinterest board pulled up here and I'm going to share with you some of the inspiration that I've pulled from my wardrobe this season. So with being stuck at home and not going out very often, and also just moving into cold Wisconsin weather, I've really been drawn to this cozy homestead type vibes. And so I have this image here and I absolutely love the colors and just the feeling that I get from this photo. And so I sort of drew a lot of my color inspiration from here with the darker greens, warmer neutrals, and just that kind of general cozy fall feeling. So I absolutely love green and sage green, or those lighter greens. I have a lot in my spring and summer wardrobe. And this year I've been obsessed with those deeper forest greens. And so I have this photo, which is actually my phone wallpaper because I love it so much. I absolutely love these deep green tones for this season. And so again, this kind of gives me that kind of color inspiration. So if you scroll through my Pinterest board, you can start to see a lot of common themes. So things with really cozy knits that have a little bit more of a texture to it. And I've been loving more of that vintage worn in vibe, nothing that's too clean and too pristine and too modern. I really like that kind of homey lived in feel. And then one of the biggest sources of inspiration for my wardrobe this year has been a specific collection. And I can't exactly tell you why I love it. It's just kind of that gut feeling. I've just been obsessing over it. I've never really been into Western style fashion. It's never been something that I've ever really gotten into. But the way that this is done is perfect, I think. There's a bit of a vintage vibe. It's a little bit retro. It almost has that kind of 70s feel to it, but that kind of, Western feel to it as well. But I'm absolutely obsessed with all of the colors and just the overall vibe and feel. So that has been kind of the main source of inspiration that I've really designed my wardrobe around. So the next step is research. And this is where I start to take all of that inspiration, all of this conceptual ideas, and I start to make it into something more tangible. So from my inspiration, I can get a general idea of colors and fabrics and textures and silhouettes that I need. And then I look for actual pieces online that fit those. So here I have another board. I do have a video on how I organize my Pinterest. So again, that will be linked for you to go back and watch if you're curious and haven't seen that. So this board is where I start to pull those actual pieces that fit a lot of the inspiration that I have so that I can actually start to put together what my capsule wardrobe will look like and what pieces I need to build the outfits that I want to. So the color palette that I decided for my wardrobe this year based on all my inspiration is going with warmer neutrals. So things like softer grays and ivories and browns, and then doing those nice deep fall tones like navy blue and a dark green and a rust orange. So right here, as I'm going through different websites, this is a Madewell cardigan in that rust orange, and I absolutely love the textures in this sweater. It has that kind of vintage lived-in feel, which I absolutely love. And again, am I actually going to buy this sweater? Probably not, but I'm starting to gather these images so that I can get an idea of what I'm looking for when I do eventually go and try to find pieces for my wardrobe. Sweaters is definitely a big thing for my wardrobe because I live in Wisconsin, so I live in sweaters all winter long. And so I kind of just grabbed a good variety of different sweaters and different styles and colors and textures. And so I have something like this in that deep green color, having something in kind of those brown tones, and then finding those other supplemental pieces like a good pair of dark wash jeans, which give it a little bit more of that vintage look, and some layering pieces like some fun jackets. I'm obsessed with quilted jackets and the shacket trend that is huge right now. And finding these pieces is really simple. I just spend some time going to online stores and looking through the current inventory and seeing if there's anything that fits the style that I'm going for, or I'll just search things on Pinterest as well. So once I have pieces to work with, I can then move into the designing process and start to create some outfits. Now, I use an app called ShopLook, and it's one of those fun kind of collage type apps that allows you to take, articles of clothing and put together cute outfits. And of course you can share them and there's a social element to it, but I like to use it because it's a really easy way to put together some outfit inspirations. So I can upload all those pieces that I have saved on my Pinterest into here and start mixing and matching and creating outfits. And it's really quite simple. All you have to do is add pieces in, and you can get as creative as you want, but I feel like this is a really practical way to get some real outfit inspiration and also to help you figure out what pieces you want to purchase for your wardrobe, or to go through your current wardrobe and see if there are any pieces that match that you can easily create outfits out of. So I think that's just a fun and simple tool. So I will put up a few of the outfits that I created so that you can see how I took my inspiration and created some fun looks based off of that. So with all of my inspiration and research and designs, I can then use all of that to source the actual pieces for my wardrobe. Now, the beauty of all of this is that I now have a plan and know exactly what I'm looking for, and it makes shopping just a little bit easier. I try to buy most of my clothes secondhand, so when I'm thrifting, I have an easy color palette that I can stick to, and I know what types of fabrics and textures that I'm looking for. But what's also really great is sometimes going through this process helps you rethink the clothes that you already have, and so you can go into your wardrobe and a lot of times just reuse pieces that you already have and just rethink of them in a different way. So really quickly, I want to share with you one example of how I put all of these things together and create an outfit from all of this information. So I'm going to be working with this image right here, which again, this is from that collection that I've been obsessed with. I absolutely love this outfit for some reason. So the first thing I'm looking at is just the general color palette. So it's those warm neutrals with a lot of those rusty oranges or beiges and some dark blues. So in order to achieve this kind of vintage look, I knew I needed a good dark wash pair of jeans, which I already have in my closet. So I have these thrifted wide leg crops in this really nice dark blue. Again, just gives it that more vintage vibe. I did a lighter wash jean. It just wasn't going to look the same. So these are absolutely perfect. And then the biggest thing with this outfit is the cardigan, obviously. So this was something that I didn't have. And so when I was thrifting, I was looking for a few things. So I went into the cardigan section, and then I was looking at pieces that fit my color palette. So looking in the ivories and beiges, oranges, navies, and greens to see if there was something that had a similar feel. Also wanted to find something that had just more texture to it to give it that interest. So what I loved about this cardigan is that it fit into my color palette. And yes, it doesn't look exactly like the one in the picture, but it doesn't need to. It still has that same feel. So it just kind of has that Western feel to it with the fringe detail and just that kind of old vintage texture to it that I absolutely loved. So I still wanted to bring in some of that rust orange or kind of brown tones. So to layer underneath it, I have this thrifted ribbed mock neck, which is going to bring in those brown tones. And so you see that by putting this together, we're already starting to get a similar color palette, even if it's not exactly like the photo. Now, if you don't like that full Western look, you could absolutely just stop there because maybe you just liked the general feel and the colors and the texture, and that was sort of your inspiration. You could absolutely stop there, but I really loved this look, and so I wanted to keep going. So I have my felt hat that I already had, a fun Western bandana to kind of go around my neck and tuck in to my sweater. And then, of course, a belt to belt off the cardigan to give it that same look. Again, I just want to emphasize you don't have to copy an outfit piece for piece. You can absolutely just pull the elements that you like, whether it's just the colors or the textures, whatever it is. But for this outfit in particular, I just really liked it. And so that's kind of how I used that inspiration to create a look that I can actually wear in my own wardrobe. Again, I don't think everyone needs to approach their wardrobe in this way. If you're someone who loves jeans and cozy tops and that's all you need, then by all means do what works for you. But if you are someone who just feels stuck in their style and you want to change it up but you're not quite sure how, you can use some of these tips to help you get outside of your comfort zone and create a style that you love. So if you want more fashion content, you should definitely check out the link to my Facebook group in my description, and you can join that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you think I'm crazy, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next one.